So we are back, and this is the same painting that we did in part 1, the hot glue, and this is going to be part 2 with painting. And here's all the colors you'll need to be painting along with us. So the brush I am going to start with is this brush, just like a little tip brush. And I'm gonna dip it in the light green, just like a tad bit. See that? And then you start painting, and start with the tree or the bush. But I am starting with the tree, and you just paint, but try not to get it on the hot glue, because we're going to go over that. Well, actually, never mind, you can. Just the glue hot trees, don't make sure not to get the dog's ear, because we don't want it to be green, right? And you just keep painting. You might want a bigger brush, but who cares, right? And I'm gonna paint the grass green, but I might need a bigger brush for that. But the only reason why I'm doing this brush is because so I can get the little details on the bush. Okay, so we stick with the same green, but we do the other bush now. And you leave like the little line parts, because that's gonna be brown. And then your little dots that you use that are berries inside the bush, do not paint those, because we're going to paint those red or blue. I don't care what color of bush it is. Like, what bush is it? A blueberry bush, an apple bush, a raspberry bush? It's actually your choice, but me today, I am going to paint it red. Paint all those little spots red. Okay, when you are done with that, take your brush and dip it in the water like this. And you make sure it's all clean, and you come over here to your paper towel, and you make sure you dry it thoroughly. And then you can even do this to prop it back up. And over here to the paints, you want to go to the red one over here, right here. And then you come back to your painting and just paint over those dots. And if you didn't make enough, you can just add some little paints like this. And if you forgot to add some on the tree, you can go back to the tree and add just some little dots in the tree, so it's like an apple tree. And we do that same thing again, just like Bob Ross does. Because washing the brush is the funnest part, he says. So I'm gonna switch to this brush right here, and then I'm going to dip it in the same green. I just needed it bigger, and I go down to the grass and I just paint like this. And make sure you have a surface under you, so your parents or the parents out there that are following along don't get mad and they don't get it all over. And try not to get it on your hands. And I would just use like an up and down, like a down motion like this, or an up and down motion like that. Like this, or like this. So you can get those nice strokes for like the grass. And you might need to keep refilling your paintbrush. But this is acrylic paint, not watercolor paint. Just to let you know, so you don't use watercolors. Or if watercolors is the only paint you have, you can use watercolors if you want. But I would recommend acrylic, because the colors pop out and you can actually mix the colors together to get a nice color. And see how that actually looks like grass? You want to make sure you rinse the brush. And yes, the water will be dirty, but it's kind of like you're making like a potion. Right? So I'm gonna stick with the same brush. I'm gonna dip it in the yellow color I made. And then just paint that on the sun. You might need to add just a touch more yellow, but that's okay because everybody makes mistakes, right? Yeah, I think that's a better color. And you might want to go over it with some gold after, so it gets like this nice shimmery sun color look, or just leave it dull. Whatever you want to do, because it is your painting. Next, we are gonna do the trunk. So I have this paint bottle right here that has a tip. We're gonna be using that for all the little designs that we're gonna do. And then we're gonna paint over it with some metallic brown. So you make sure you wanna shake it up and then you just squeeze it. If I can get this to work.
If it doesn't work, just use your other one. Might be. Oh, put the lid back on. Yep.
Yeah, put the lid back on. So instead of that, we're gonna use some gray.
Gray on your tree?
It's just for the outlines, like this.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So you're making like knots in the wood.
Yeah. And you can follow me, but you can paint also your own. And I'm back to the tiny pine tip brush.
Yeah.
Again, make sure you get just a tiny bit of paint so it's not like a big glob like the trees. Because we needed the big glob on the trees, right? And just whatever you want to do, just make it flow like Bob Ross says. Yeah, you fans out there might like Bob Ross, but you should really subscribe to Fallon's video. So how to subscribe: turn your phone, turn it this way. If the subscribe button is red, click it and make it turn gray, because gray is the way and red is not good. Make sure you click the little bell, and so you can get notified every time that me and her post a video. And if you want to share this channel with anybody else, it's called Graceful Ease. Make sure you subscribe to Graceful Ease, because she's gonna have a whole bunch of fun and exciting videos. Okay, moving on. We're gonna use like this kind of like a reddish pinkish color, and we're gonna start on the bow of the dog. We just need to let this paint dry over here and just fill it in like Bob Ross says. Fill, fill, fill. As you can tell, I'm a big Bob Ross fan.
I love Bob Ross.
Yeah. But, you know, Bob Ross has like another person doing his channel, but he is really good, and you should really go check out Bob Ross too. It's just Bob and Ross. You should go check him out because he is a wonderful painter, better than I am. Because the reason how I'm good right now is because of Bob Ross. Because I've been watching his videos ever since I could get into paint, and I've been painting a lot ever since of him. It's really sad that he died, yes, but sorry, it's just like nothing to talk about with painting, so I just talk about a little bit of stuff that I watch. So, yeah, and when we move on, I stop talking and then doing that again, yeah. So I really hope you guys subscribe to my Aunt Fallon, because she is really the best and the bomb. I really hope you guys subscribe to her. You should too, because she's gonna have exciting videos posted soon, coming out. Might take her a while, because it takes some people a while because they have to actually edit the video and stuff. Okay, moving on, because we already did the pink and the reds. So we take the black and then you just paint like on the dog, but it's like the curve part that we did in the last video. And just paint it like this. I'm still using the same brush. I need this one to be a little bit liquidy. You just paint the nose whatever color you want, like red, black, or pink. This could be even a makeup dog. And you even paint the eyes and the nose black. But you can paint the nose or any picture however you want. I'm just showing you mine so you know what to do, or just see what I'm doing. So the dog and the sky we are gonna do after we do all this. So now I'm switching to this brush. And then we're gonna start on the butterfly.
Okay.
We take this and dip it in the black. And then we just paint the body. My aunt is just behind the camera. And then you rinse out the brush after you're done painting the body. And then you switch to a smaller brush because we're going to use gray for the antennas and slash silver, because this is grayish silverish. Just make sure you go through very, very good. You hear that water back in the background? It's just my fish tank. And now, what I want to do is take kind of this minty green over here, same brush, and paint on the outside of the wings to get like a good highlight color. And you can paint more butterflies. I only had time for one. We just paint over the glue. Okay, see? And then you rinse out the blue, mint green. Excuse me, I'm tired. You dip it in this shimmery purple, or any purple you want, and you just paint. And you can even add more details because of this brush. I was heading for the water there. Ish. And you can make any pattern you want. You want to know why? Because it's your painting. Or you can use markers, or I would use markers or paint. Oh, excuse me, I switched to a lighter color of purple. Inside of the wings is going to be like blue. So let me hurry and switch over to this. Can you see? It's kind of like tealish blue.
It's a really pretty color.
Yeah. And you just paint the inside of the wings. It's kind of like the other color, but it's just like a little bit darker. And you just paint, paint, paint. Everybody out there, I hope you guys like painting and crafts, because this video is all about crafts and you say the other part.
Painting.
Yeah, crafts and
Painting.
yep. Crafts, painting, really anything that helps stress, right?
Yep, I have a lot of that kind of thing.
Yeah, same. So my Aunt Fallon let me do a first video, my first video ever that I'm making. So I'm sorry if I make a few mistakes because
You're good.
this is my first video, so I'm a little nervous. Oh, and I'm switching over to brown and we're going back to the trees.
Yeah.
And I know the gray didn't work, but you can also paint over the gray and see how the gray is making this color more beautiful. I mean, yeah. So when this dries, we're actually going to paint it over with black so we can make the little details on it. I thought gray would work, but it didn't. So we are,
It's okay.
yeah, but see that? It's even more beautiful than the color. So we're just gonna, everybody makes mistakes, and wash it out. And then what I'm gonna do is paint the dog next. So what you need is just Snow White or any white that you need or have, and then you get some white on your plate, and then kind of get like a thick but small brush. I would prefer this kind of brush. Just dip it in the paint like everybody does, and then you just start painting. I know the paper is white, but the hot glue is not. So, and it's also to cover up any mistakes that you made or something. Oops. You might have to go back over with some of the black.
Mm-hmm. That's
little
okay.
bit. That's fine. It's not like we're wasting any paint. It's just, ooh, look at that. If we actually paint over it, it looks like gray. But I want it to actually pop. So I'm just gonna rinse out this brush. Oopsie. Dry it off and put it back here. Switching over to this brush again. I'm just gonna go over it with some black. Yeah, this video is gonna be long because it is painting. Because painting videos is actually sort of long, but I'm sorry if it's long. It's just that I'm not used to doing it fast because this is my first video. I've said that a few times. Well, my second video actually, because of the other one.
Yeah.
Ooh, I forgot to do a wing on the butterfly. Dang it. I'm so sorry. I'm just very forgetful today.
Oh, you were just excited to color other things.
Yeah. But that's okay. Everybody makes mistakes, but mistakes is actually how you learn. Like, this one might not be that good, but who cares, right? It's my second video, so. Oh yeah, and I'm switching over to black. Just making some details on the tree.
The brown on the tree is metallic, so that's why it looks like it's two-toned.
Yes. And my aunt might jump in sometimes and talk because she's behind the camera. And we're at her house today.
Looks like you're almost done.
Almost. So now what I'm gonna do is leave the white because I'm gonna do clouds, but we need a lot of blue. And then we do this, and then we just make some swirly, swirly clouds. I'm gonna switch to a really big brush and then just paint all over blue. But you can do more clouds, it's just that I don't really have that much time because I need to do lunch, so I have to kind of hurry. And you want to make sure you have a surface under you before you start painting. Don't forget to go over the sun in gold if you want, or just leave it how it is. It's your really choice. It's your choice. Because I'm not controlling you. I'm not your mom or something like that. So you just do whatever you want in your painting because it's your painting.
Okay, so you're gonna do your gold and you'll be done?
Yep. So you just need a little bit of gold. Put it on this, or a lot. It's your choice. And then you take one of these brushes that you've seen, and you just dip it in, and then you paint it like this. You dab it or do this. And a few layers. And just a tiny bit of white to make it pop. And you just mix that a little bit together and get a little bit more rose gold or gold. And then there you have it. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye!